You found us.
Welcome to Emergency Protocol, a podcast for people who are stressy and depressy.
We are your hosts,
Denise
and Jackie Freed. That's my mama.
And that's my baby.
We are sharing our 12 steps reimagined for today's society.
And our bumpy, pothole-ridden spiritual paths.
And we're bringing you along for the ride.
This is us doing the actual work.
When the shit hits the fan, you know it's time for Emergency Protocol. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
We're back.
We're back.
Hello.
Hi. I just started my period, so super stoked to be here.
Super energized and positive.
Feeling really good about this chimple that is facing you guys.
Yes, and yeah. I'm a little low energy because I had to speak at a meeting at 7:20 this morning out in Malibu.
Woof.
Which is about a half-hour drive from where we live, and
That's a lot.
And I woke up last night when I was hearing cars driving by. I was like, "Oh, I guess it's time to get up." And it was like 1:47, and then I had to try and go back to sleep, and it was just like one of those tossy-turny nights where I'm like, "What am I going to say?" I usually don't even stress it, but it's not a meeting I've ever been to before, so. Anyway,
Yeah,
that
you weren't
started
sure what
my
the
morning.
situation was.
But it was delightful, and I saw dolphins.
She loves dolphins. She's got a great track record with dolphins.
I'm a dolphin channeler in my next gig. I'll just go out there and channel dolphins for the tourists.
Great.
Come to us.
Okay.
Charge $5 per sighting.
Nice.
Guaranteed dolphin vision.
Wow.
No, I can't do
that for you.
But it just did kind of make my day because, dolphins swimming by in the ocean in Malibu was not terrible.
Yeah.
It was delightful.
Nice.
Just a little early to be out.
Early. Yeah.
We're not early. Okay. We're not early people.
No.
We're not early people. Yeah. So period. I don't have periods anymore, so I don't know when's. It's just one giant
Hormone festival.
Yeah, hormone festival.
Also, your collar's twisted in the back. Sorry, I just saw that.
No hormone festival. Anyway, so we said last time we were going to start with friendships. Because you had just gotten back from a trip.
Yes.
And I've been reconnecting with some childhood friends and meeting up with my existing friends and just, the conversation around maintaining friendships and community.
Yeah.
So you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What do you want to do?
You can go first. Because you have a lot of really long-standing friendships. Which have been really great to witness.
I do have long-standing friendships. And, sometimes...
Most of which are from the program, too.
Yes.
At least in my mind.
Most are from the program because when I was newly sober, I was 20, and they told me I couldn't hang around with the people that I used with. I had to kind of
Your lower companions?
Well, they weren't lower, but they were my companions.
That's what they call them, though,
well,
right?
No,
I always felt that was so condescending.
Well, no. Okay, let me identify the lower companion. So the identifying of the lower companion is somebody who's got a far worse disease, is practicing a lot worse than you are, so that you feel like you don't have a problem. I'm not as
they're
bad.
The floor.
I'm not as bad as John.
The bar's down here.
Yeah. So I don't. So it's not that person's lower than me or anything. It was about. Well, I don't have a problem because, clearly my friend here.
I'm not getting hospitalized every week.
Yeah. I'm not breaking out in bar brawls or crashing
arrested.
Into things or all the things. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we still don't.
It's still not great. It's still not a great, label.
Yeah.
But the idea behind it wasn't that they're
lesser valued people.
They're just people who are farther down that addicted role or addicted life,
yeah,
then you are.
Or it's a spectrum, right? Like the scale of addiction can vary.
Some people stop. They just don't want to do this. They've never hurt anyone. They've never done anything bad. They are, minding their own business in their own house, but don't like the way they feel, or maybe they don't like how it's kind of become an addiction. Like I have to have it. So,
or a habit in general.
Habit that's not working.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything else in your life is pretty healthy. So people can decide whether they want to identify or not identify, which actually brings me to a reconnection, not reconnection because we've been connected, but with a childhood friend who I got to see this week and celebrate her 1 year. And she's one of those people who's super disciplined in her life. Like we're total opposites in that way. So she's, just going to meetings for the first time, and I get to go to these meetings with her. Yeah. And it's been just joyful to watch her experience this. And also I realize how much of the kind of, like you said, kind of cultural stuff is in the rooms and the way we talk about things that because I've talked about it just in my life, but outside people are like, what does that mean? What do I do? Do I stand up now? Do I, what do I say when they call on that, all of that stuff? And so it's just been super fun. But the thing about watching this, adoption into this community is to see how welcoming people are. Like one guy talked about hearing his name for the first time. And as he was walking out, somebody said, like, see you tomorrow, whatever. See you tomorrow, John. And then he thought it was somebody behind him. And then the person in the next person said, John, great to see you here. I hope you come back. And then he was like, are they talking to me? And that kind of welcoming thing. And then he was like, how do you know my name? And they're like, well, in the beginning, we asked if anybody was in their first 30 days and you said your name. And they're like, and you remember. And the thing is like, and you remembered.
Because you're not loaded.
Yeah. And you're welcoming me back. And it's usually because, we're in a place either that we've been so isolated that nobody knows us and we're not really welcomed or invited anywhere. Or you're such a problem.
You've burned so many bridges.
Everyone's cut you off and no one's inviting you back. And so that's the first thing I remember too, being like, oh.
Like when you so are nice. the lower companion.
Well, I am the lower companion. I have been the lower companion, right? So just watching how beautiful the community is and being able to kind of share with her, the tools we have for finding meetings and then people inviting her to other meeting. It's just like, that's what we do. It's like, hey, if you like this meeting, there's another meeting right after this if you need to keep going. Because sometimes weekends are really hard for people, especially on the newer side, because you don't know how to fill your time. And so time alone is kind of, if you're not working, a struggle. Anyway, I'm getting off the friend thing, but I think it's just about the community and the kind of the beauty of being welcomed.
Yeah.
For who you are, and without even having to know who you are.
Yeah.
Like you're just
and
welcome
that,
here.
Like that was paid forward to you, so you pay it forward to others.
Yes. So everyone is welcome here.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. The dolphins helped too.
The dolphins. Loves the dolphin.
And then in terms of like maintenance, like this is somebody that I've known since I was 12, 11, next door neighbor as a child. So we've been out of communication for a long time. Like when I got sober, I just kind of had to let go of my old life, which is kind of sad because she fell into the bulk of that. But then we reconnected a few years back, and I just love her, and it's nice to see somebody, and it's nice to be there for her in a real kind of way.
Nice.
And she was there for me in a lot of ways. So I think it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like maintenance for my long-term sobriety friends, like, you know, I have a lot of women that I'm in community with that have been 30 years, probably because we started working the steps around my sponsor's table, and we just started doing these workshops, and we did them year over year over year. I think one of my friends said she's done 27 of these workshops. I don't think I've done that many, but I've certainly, if I started them at 8 and I've done them every other year at minimum, I've done at least 15.
Yeah.
Right. And that's at a minimum.
I mean, I have memories of you doing like AA, self-assigned AA homework my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I met Claire when I was like 7 or 8 years sober. So, and she taught us how to do this work. And then she knew.
Are you allowed to say her name? I guess you can. Just a first name.
Claire. Yeah.
Claire,
everybody has a first
Claire
name.
Schmo.
So this is the other thing. Okay. When you go to these meetings and they're like, oh, do you know my friend John? And you're like, I know a bunch of Johns.
Yes.
And nobody knows anybody's last name. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have these friendships that have been, 30 something years in the making, and we can hop right in with each other, even if we don't see each other for a whole year. Like there's just that level because we've gotten so honest, and we've been so open with each other for so long that there's not a lot of weirdness to hop back in.
Yeah.
Not everybody's like that, but I have quite a few friends that are like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to see them all in August. I'm doing a women's retreat, which I'm organizing, and I have about 30 women signed up for now.
That's awesome.
It'll be great for a weekend of hanging out and being goofy with each other and doing some work too. And then 6 and 7, I wanted to bring in around friendship because especially gossip, as we're in groups of people, I still can get that way, and I can be judgy. And so, part of the thing is like, I did have to learn when somebody said to me, look, I need to tell you something and you can't talk about it, to not talk about it. Because some people are not safe with secrets, right? And so I knew for me, I wanted to be somebody that was safe with secrets for people. And so, some of those secrets have been a heavy load to bear, especially within friend groups, and to know something about people that nobody else knows is a lot. It's a lot, but I keep this, I keep the integrity of somebody coming to me wanting to tell me something so that they have somebody who knows. So it's hard to not, because you just normally like, it's like, oh, now it's my secret and I don't want to hold this secret. I want somebody to know too, right? But now I can't because it's not my secret.
This is where having a therapist comes in real handy, because it's somebody that you pay to receive your secrets, and then they do the same thing. They take that to their therapist.
Right, but not everybody can afford a therapist.
Not everybody can afford a therapist.
So, what do you do with that kind of thing? Like, where do you share that, or where do you kind of unload the heaviness of holding something heavy about someone you love, right? Or something like that. So it's kind of, that's, I find, one of the harder aspects of maintaining long-term friendships is being trustworthy of the information that people want to share with you. Yeah.
And also on my end, like being cognizant too of when I am laying that burden on somebody too. Like I want to tell you something, but it's kind of big and heavy, but it has to be kept a secret. Like, are you willing to listen? Right? Like judging people's capacity to hold that. Right. Yeah. Is also part of it too, right? Figuring out who's trustworthy. I think that's also something you have to learn just in general in life, but probably also as a newly sober person.
Right. And I learned that by having my trust betrayed, right? And so it's like, oh, that person can't keep the secret. And I've also learned it by betraying the secret. Like I told something about somebody I knew. I heard something from a sponsor that I shared with somebody that I should not have shared with somebody. And it really did hurt that person. And that was not okay. So
Yeah.
I learned really early on, like it could be very damaging to share information that's not yours to share.
It might not even come to you as explicitly as that either, right? Someone might share something and they might not say, I need you to keep this private, right? You just have to use your own best judgment.
Right.
Right.
And there are times where I'm going to say something and then I'm like, I think I'm not going to say that.
This is your favorite phrase. Restraint of pen and
Dun,
tongue.
dun, dun, dun. Restraint of pen and tongue.
Yeah.
Don't write it. Don't type it. Don't say it.
You can write it in a private journal.
You can write it in a private journal. Or you can write a draft email and not send it. I mean,
draft emails were still risky.
Well, you don't put their name in the sender.
I still want to.
Well, I mean, for me, I know I want to send an email that needs to be sent.
Yeah.
But I'm really heated.
Yeah.
In the moment I'm writing the email, I'm going to leave it in draft until tomorrow or until I've prayed about you.
Don't put the email address in until the very end.
Exactly. Or you only put your email address in, or whatever it is. I think Google saves it as a draft no matter if you have a name in there or not. But what the thing is like the restraint part is that words have consequences.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say something that is going to cause people pain.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the time that I was like a senior on the volleyball team, and this girl who came in as a freshman who arguably was a better player than me, not gonna lie, but she had been out sick for like a whole week, and then she came back on the day of the game and he started her, and I was like, look, I get that she's like a better player, but it's bullshit. I literally said bullshit in an email. I had to have a meeting with the athletic director and my coach. I apologized for my language, but stood by the sentiment. That's what you mean by, and I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Of like, maybe don't respond immediately after the game. Maybe wait until the next day.
Yeah. So, yes, there's lots of ways to communicate, and sometimes no communication is the best way to communicate. It's like, I don't actually need to even say anything about this. I'm just going to pray for the person that I have a resentment against, and just pray that they get everything they want in life, and it's all good until I actually feel that way. So
totally. Timing too.
Yeah.
Right? Like sometimes things don't always need to be addressed in the moment, right?
Right.
Even though I sometimes want to address things right in the moment.
Yeah, but sometimes in that moment, everybody's so hot that it's not going to land and no one's going to hear anybody. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And when you're talking about something sensitive, like, we're going to have a money conversation around stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm going to wait till your sister's back and we'll have a little family meeting and we'll set it up as a family meeting. And like, this is what we're going to talk about at this time.
Yeah.
And that way everybody can come to the table prepared for a conversation, right? And it's not going to be weird because it is actually just
it's
a conversation.
It's not that vague, like, can we talk about something?
Yeah.
That's the worst text to send to anybody with anxiety.
Which I would send to Jackie. So and when we were working together and I would send you texts, I'm like, can you call me right now? Or can we talk? I need to talk to you. Or
call me.
Call me.
Hey, pick up.
Yeah.
Or when I was in college too, also nerve-wracking to receive.
Well, you guys, you were like, you said like every time I called, you thought somebody had died here or something. Well, and granted, everybody was old, but still.
Yeah. Just say, like,
just call me. No one has died. What's the
just
the
a little bit of context. Hey, can we talk about
your flight
Thanksgiving
home?
Break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That was also, I mean, yeah. I feel like you've also evolved in your modern communication etiquette.
Because you made me.
Yeah. You weren't even on like Instagram or Facebook for a long time.
Well, I was on Facebook.
You took a long time to get onto Facebook too.
Yeah.
And you were mad because I was always on it.
And I was like, oh, everybody's here. And then it got hijacked. Thank you, whoever you were in Hanoi, Vietnam, who jacked my whole thing and pulled the whole profile off of the thing. Like, don't know where the data is. Don't know where all those photos are. Don't know nothing about nothing. They changed my username and password. Facebook emailed me and said, "Did you change your username?" I said, "No." "Did you change your phone number?" "No." And then when I went to log in, they're like, "Yeah, you don't have the right credentials." I'm like, "I know. I said that wasn't me." And they wouldn't give me my account back. So I'm minimally on Facebook, and a lot of people thought I just unfriended them. And then I recently went back on, like in the last 2 months, and sent out all these like friend requests, and people are like, "Denise, did you just friend request?" Like literally people are calling me going, "Did you just friend request me on Facebook?"
Because they think you're the spam.
Yes,
Now.
they think I'm the bot.
That's so funny.
I know, but I am on Instagram, but I don't really go on. Like I go on at the end of the day and kind of just do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I go in the morning, I buy shit I don't need. I'm vulnerable in the morning to buying things.
Because you need that little dopamine boost.
Apparently. So like
maybe that's why you hate mornings less than I do.
Cute silver shoes that I didn't know I have to have right now, today.
Yeah. Okay. Interestingly, I wanted to talk about social media, but I forgot to bring it up in our pre-recording convo. But I feel like social media also gives me the false illusion that I'm maintaining my friendships in a good and healthy way when I'm not.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I think it goes both ways. I had multiple people send me this meme this week that was like, today I found out that when you send your loved ones little like videos and memes on Instagram, it's called pebbling, the way that penguins will bring little pebbles to their loved ones. And I was like, that's me. I'm the silly little penguin.
Yes.
Like, I definitely do that as a love language. And that is definitely how I operate, because by default, I'm not like a call or text person.
Right.
Like it's not that I forget about people. It's just like, it just is not part of my habits. Right?
Right. But you meet with people in person.
I meet with people in person, and I make a point to go out of my way for like important events and stuff, right? Like I went to see my college buddies because we had a PhD graduation and an engagement to celebrate.
But I think, there are people out there who have built relationships with people online through direct messaging.
Yeah. People find like significant others
and
online.
They've never even met. And then they, like, I can think of one of my agents, Wendy. I don't know if you listen to this, but I'm thinking of you. She has this really amazing network of other agents across the U.S. Through her Instagram. And she's so happy when she gets to see these people.
Yeah.
And she sees them all over the world. Like she's in Mexico, or she's in New York, or she's in Miami, or wherever she is.
Yeah.
And she's got a real connection that was started on Instagram.
Cool.
So it is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but to go into why you think it's not healthy, or that you're not maintaining. Where do you think it's not maintaining
feels like
the relationship?
I'm judging myself as being lazy by putting effort into my friendships that way, as opposed to like FaceTiming or calling or texting more regularly.
Got it.
Right?
Because you're just hearting what they like.
Yeah. And then when we're in person, it's like we drop in, we go deep, we like couch rot together. Like those are my favorite times when I'm with the people I'm closest with.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of like I won't just like pick up the phone and FaceTime a friend on like a Sunday afternoon.
Got it.
Right?
Well, to be fair, I think people are protective of their time now more than ever.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you just call people randomly.
Yeah.
Although if they're not available, they won't pick up.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. When you call somebody and they don't pick up and they don't call you back, then it's like...
That feels like a rejection.
Yeah. And so I think it's safer to call people. And it may have zero to do with the fact that they want or don't want to call you back.
Right.
It's that they're just busy, and then it just gets lost in the ether of all the shit that we have to do every day.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think people take it really personally when they don't get a call back. Although, you know, to be fair, I could say, hey, I'm just calling to check in on you. Nothing going on my end.
Yeah.
No need to call me back.
Yeah.
Or
Just like hey, I'm thinking of you.
Hey, I'm thinking of you. I have something I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
It's, you know, if you want to preface it so you're not like going doom, right? Because you just went doom, right? Like, shit, what's going on?
Yeah.
What did we do? What did I say? What did I do? Right? I have something I want to talk to you about. Really great news. Please call me back. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I think if we were more purposeful about the outreach and directive, then it would not feel so rejecting and filled or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And I do that too. Like, I will say I was better about that during, like, especially during the pandemic. I was checking on people all the time. Like, and I constantly sent messages like that. Like, hey, just thinking of you. No need to text me back. Like, hope all is well.
Yeah.
And sometimes they would text me back. Sometimes they wouldn't. Or like one of my good friends who moved down to San Diego, like every now and then she'll just like call me and be like, hey, how's it going?
Right.
Like, just wanted to check in. And then we'll like have a little chat, or she'll text me or whatever. And we'll have like 10 minutes where we'll go on like this long rambling conversation. And then when we're in person, it's like we just drop back into it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and super fun. But yeah, it is hard to maintain long distance friendships when that quality time feels fewer and far between, right? And
well, it actually is harder.
It is harder.
Right.
It's harder to not be there.
Right.
For
and
all
there's
the like
also
littler
FOMO
things.
of,
Yeah.
Like they're out having brunch because they live 20 minutes from each other.
Right.
And I wished I was there.
Yeah. Totally.
Right? Yeah.
Totally. Or like we can't go to Disney because they live in Portland now.
Bree, you know you'd be down here in a hot minute if Jackie said going to Disney.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
I think also too, making friendships as an adult is really hard. It seems like most people, the people that they are closest to are people that they've known like since childhood, or at least since their 20s, right? Like,
Right.
I know people do make friendships later on in life, but it seems like generally speaking, like those are the like closest and deepest friendships that people maintain.
Right.
It's really hard to make new friends as an adult.
Which is why, going back to my original thing of this community, right? To watch somebody be welcomed in, to people giving her little gifts after the meeting for celebrating 1 year, like a little whatever crystal or whatever they gave her. And, you know, people have commitments in these meetings. And what happens in that act is, first of all, you're doing an act of service for the greater good. So you feel good about being there and doing something.
You feel like you're earning your spot.
Yeah, and
even though you don't need to.
Well, and somebody told me today, like, that, you know, when you get there, you don't really have a lot to give emotionally, physically, or a lot of times monetarily or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can give your time. And so just being at the door, shaking hands and welcoming people feels
or
like
putting out the chairs.
is an act of service. But then you're also showing up every week with all these other people who are doing the same thing. And
It
so
becomes like a little micro community.
Yes. And so now also I earned my seat in this meeting because I have a job here. Just like when you go to work, you feel like you're a part of the work, right?
Yeah.
And so now you're building this kind of community. And so oftentimes I tell newer people, like, get 2 or 3 commitments a week, spread them out.
At like different locations.
At different locations and meet different people. And in those commitments is like how I learned how to like show up for life, like bringing a cake to a meeting. I didn't know how to be responsible, but when I bring a cake to a meeting, if I can't be there, then I'm going to call Jackie and say, Jackie, can you bring the cake to the Friday night meeting because I can't make it, so that there's a cake at the meeting, right?
Yeah.
I learned how to what to do when I can't show up at places instead of just ghosting.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just learned a lot of responsibility behaviors
Yeah.
by having commitments at meetings.
Yeah.
Literally, like I learned how to run my life by having commitments at meetings and other commitments.
I feel like the other piece too around like friendship and also going to meetings is just being around people, right? And feeling worthy of being witnessed and being seen. Like, hello, I don't have any makeup on today for our listeners. Like my hair, I slept in my hair. It's all fuzzy. I'm on my period. I give 0 fucks today, right? Because like I said from the beginning, I'm not going to do my hair for this podcast.
Yes.
Right? And I haven't. But I'm still here for y'all to witness, right? And like, I definitely struggle with that on like a day-to-day basis. But if there's a special like life event or something, I will go out of my way to make myself present for those moments, right? Like I don't want to miss out on the big things.
Right.
So yeah. And we're lucky to live in LA where like almost every other person's in sweatpants and a bun, right? Thank God we don't live in Paris because I couldn't do like a cardigan and loafers to go get groceries as needed.
Would.
I probably would. I could adapt eventually, but
You might
I would
just
be resentful as
fuck.
fuck.
You might not have the sweatpants to put on, so all you have are the pants and the cardigan because nobody's wearing sweatpants.
Smart. So then what do you wear at home though? If there's any Parisians listening, please tap in.
What do you wear at home?
What do you wear at home?
Put that in the comments. Very important that we know what Parisians wear at home to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Probably something also like very comfortable and super chic. Like, you know.
Silk PJs.
No.
All right. Now we're getting goofy.
Okay.
But yeah, being around people, being witnessed in whatever state you're in, right? And also having friends, like when you find people who you can like celebrate the highs and the lows with, like hold on to them.
Right.
Right? So that when you're not okay, you can go to them and say, I'm not okay right now.
Right.
Like I'm going through this really hard thing.
Right.
And I needed to tell somebody.
Right.
Right?
Or, you know, when my brother passed, it's like, okay, I'm calling people at 4 a.m. and they're going to pick up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do have these friendships. So, you know, when you were a baby, I started that meeting in our house for families with small children. And like, we just piled you all on the rug and you couldn't even crawl out of the rug area. And, you know, we've had these long-term friendships.
Yeah.
That, you know, are as old as you are. Yeah, it's interesting. The village, we call it. The village is, we get together not as often because all the kids are grown now and everybody's off doing their own thing. And
yeah.
But it's nice when we do actually all get together because we can just hop right into, it's like family.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of cousins.
Totally.
Coming together for a meal.
Totally.
And it's nice. It's nice to have that, even if you're not normally hanging out outside of that.
Yeah.
There's a comfort in knowing it's there.
Yeah. Totally.
There's times where people want my friendship and I am not open to it. Right? There's times where I'm like, either I've had to let go of people because for a myriad of reasons, but usually if I've let go of somebody, it's because they refuse to be in the solution of their own life and they're going to play a victim of their life. And I have zero tolerance of that because I know I could have played it in so many different, on so many levels. And that's just not real. So, and also the victim energy is just so draining and awful to listen to. So I will listen to somebody's problems for a while, but if you just don't start bringing the solution, then I'm out.
Right. And or change a behavior or whatever. Yeah.
So, you know, there's times where I've had to let people go, and maybe I don't say like, I just can't be your friend anymore, but I've slowly backed away from that relationship just because It's not healthy for me. And it's not healthy for them either to just keep regurgitating a problem over and over again and have somebody just like, yeah. You know, I'm not, I guess it's the older we get. Now I know why older women get cranky, are seen cranky, because they just don't give a fuck anymore. They just say what is in their brain, you know, which is not always great. But I can see where that comes from. So, yeah.
I've had to have like a few conversations here and there too about like, hey, I really love you and I want to support you, but I can't keep talking about like boy drama. Yeah. For example, right? Like I just am not available for that.
Right. Or any kind of drama.
You know? Yeah. Any kind of drama. Luckily, I don't have to have that conversation very often, but
I don't, and I do, you know, but there's also, you know, people, especially, I think people know that I don't put up with a lot of shit, so I don't get the crazies like I used to. But I would have people come up to me after meetings and be like, you know, coming at me like, hey, and I'm like, oh, no. I don't have time for that. Like, I can't. You're a project and I have this much time. And I'm also very open about that too, because some people do need time, and there are people out there who have time, who want to help people like in that way.
Totally.
Like go find each other. I have this much time, and it's like, so, you know, it's sometimes in the meetings, they're like, raise your hand if you're available to sponsor. And I'm like, put my hand up like this. Cause I'm not like, hey, because I don't have a lot of one-on-one like blocks of time to meet with people, and it's not fair to them to think that they're going to get what is needed from me.
You're not going to have coffee like 2 mornings a week.
No.
Yeah.
No. And there are people out there who are like sponsors who are like, call me every day. And I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about every day? But you know, like, that's how they were, you know, there's all different kinds of ways of doing this. So I, you know, again, it's kind of, as I've gotten older, I've realized, and also when I first did my first work through this work and doing these steps, I realized that I had a lot of toxic people around me, and I let go of all of that. I started sleeping better, and I started, you know, there's like when you let go of that, it opens space for some other goodness. Yeah. That's not occupying your space. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. You have anything else?
I don't think so.
What are we going to talk about next?
What are we going to talk about next? We could talk about our actual bio birthdays coming up next week. We could talk about aging.
Yes. We're getting older. Next Friday is our birthday.
Hitting 30 was bad, but hitting 31 is, I think, worse.
You know, you can just fuck off, because I'm hitting 59.
Ooh.
That is like...
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, wow, next year's 60. We got to do something good.
Old as fuck.
Old as fuck.
Well, the thing is like, I know that there's more days behind me than there are in front of me. And so that's a little weird. Like 60 years is 120 years.
Oh, that's going to make me cry. I'm on my period this week. I've been like 2 seconds away from crying all fucking week. I am so emotional. Maybe it's because I'm not on birth control right now, but I am like, Mom.
So it's like, okay, I got to do what I got to do. I want to do the things that I want to do, and I got to do it now. Like, now is the time. So here we are doing this thing.
Here we are.
I'm doing more things. And it allows, it's like, okay, what kind of friendships do I want? What kind of people am I letting in? What kind of people am I not letting in? And, you know, am I losing sleep over other people's problems?
What kind of friend do I want to be?
What kind of friend do I want to be?
Yeah.
All of those things. Yeah. So, anyway, that's that. Drink some water.
Drink some water.
You're a miracle.
You're a miracle.
Thanks
I'm a miracle.
for even tuning in. I don't know who's even out there. If you are actually on YouTube and see this, leave us a comment or follow us or whatever you're supposed to do out there, because that would be awesome to hear feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like less about the like, we want followers or subscribers, and more just like, we're just shouting into the void, and like, we want to know if stuff resonates with you, if you're enjoying the content, if you have specific questions or topics that we could focus on. Yeah.
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 All right.
Alrighty.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.
We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and TikTok at 12 Steps for Everyone. That's at the number 12 Steps for Everyone.
Please like and follow us. You can also send us topics you want us to dig into or follow-up questions from each episode.
And if you know someone who would enjoy or benefit from our conversations, please feel free to share this with them. All are welcome here.